So if you're an OG of Gotham Knights, that is, if you've played the game and put in the work and put in the time, and now you've mastered a good amount of the game, I would like for you to maybe go back and help me do something and maybe watch IGN's review for Gotham Knights. I think what's going to happen is you're going to clench your teeth so hard. I am not liable for your dental fees or any dental procedures that you might need. And I don't necessarily know how else I can tell you that this is going to be a hard thing to watch. This came about when fellow content creator in the space podcast now made a video about how IGN put up this short on how they actually go ahead and review and evaluate their games. Now, they deleted the short, but he was able to capture it. So via his channel, shout out to you, bro, I was able to see this. In fact, I was watching this, just chilling, in my couch and going like, what's Alex been up to? I haven't seen his channel on my feed. I don't know what YouTube is doing, but I'm a sub, YouTube. Don't be doing me like that. I want to be seeing my man's work as he's putting them out there. And so when I saw that, I was like, yo, what are they talking about? And then they mentioned Gotham Knights. And I was like, okay, you guys have basically reminded me that you actually exist, because I've already kind of removed from my mind that anybody does reviews for video games anyways that I can actually take seriously anymore. After the way Gotham Knights was treated, when a lot of these reviewers, by the way, lied about the game, they didn't know how to play the game in the combat sense. And they said, for a game that combat is the main emphasis, the combat is just so mediocre. It's so blah, blah, blah. But those of you who are already in the combat, who already know how it works with all the different characters and some of the really fun aspects of them, that's why I said go back and watch those reviews, and you're just going to keep shaking your head, because this is where I think the community really needs to be the one at the forefront of their games. I made the argument when Hogwarts Legacy came out and how the developers at Avalanche were able to highlight their game with the help of their community first before any external reviewer. Some reviewers didn't even get a code. That's how it was. I mean, they kind of knew where this thing was going to go. And so from then on, they moved on. I hope Warner Brothers Montreal and other communities out there take note. Communities that are actually core within their games require that those communities be on the forefront of the game when you're unveiling it, because they're the ones you're selling the game to. You're giving free copies to most of these reviewers anyway, so why not bring them to the front, show them what you got, and see how they vibe with it. But anyways, as they were talking, or as the reviewer was actually mentioning stuff, they said in some cases we give some games, less than a 7, and then he went out and did a little shout out to Gotham Knights. So I went and fired up IGN's review, because I only watched that review after I had actually already played the game. You see, a lot of people jumped in to watch those reviews first, so they shaped their understanding and their thinking about the game. In my case, I started to watch one review and then I shut it off immediately. I went and started playing the game, and then I realized, a lot of these reviewers have not spent their time to play this game. Many of them had God of War Ragnarok on their schedule. I don't know if many of you know, Sony had already given advanced copies of that game, so they just wanted to go back and play their favorite Sony game, and they never paid attention, nor did they take time to play Gotham Knights. How do I know? Many of them made claims about Gotham Knights that were straight up lies. Like, some of them said things about the crafting and the blueprint system, like, this blueprint system and this crafting system is just not intuitive. It doesn't make any sense. It's just you putting up the next most powerful gear. When in reality, the gear system and the RPG mechanics are actually an intricate part of the entire game. Some of them even said, like the IGN reviewer, that the combat is just you doing basic attacks. You know what I mean? That's basically what they said. And I was like, basic attacks? I mean, like, there's a time strike system. And then they said, all you got to do is basic attacks, and then you do your momentum abilities, and then that's it. Well, if you had paid attention to your gear, you would know that if you want to use a lot of your momentum abilities, you can build momentum-based builds. You can continue to spam them as much as you want and continue to generate momentum bars as the game goes on. Or you can play the game with critical attacks or use status effects where, as much as you're able to strike the enemy very well, you can keep them under status effect attacks and not even need to use your momentum abilities. So again, this great divorce between gamers and reviewers needs to happen. Fight me all you want in the comment section or call me crazy, but it is time. Look at Zelda, the new game coming out. This game is Nintendo's game to its community and its core audiences. What do these people want from their game? They basically want Zelda, the exact same thing that they got from the last game. Now, yes, there are going to be some tweaks. We already saw that some mechanics are actually much more advanced from the previews that we saw, but already reviewers are already starting to give that game a 6 out of 10. And people are going to see this, and it's going to spoil their experience because they are now carrying a preconceived notion into the game. Jedi Survivor. I did not even bother reading or watching any reviews. I was like, I don't care if the game is buggy or not. I'm just going to play the game. And if I don't want to play it anymore, I'm going to put it down. Because at this point, I don't know what in the world we're going to do if developers are not going to spend time and focus on the game that they're actually wanting to review before actually making a review. Because at the end of the day, they go ahead and sound really wild in a strange way. And then if you even look at the criterion within which they use to judge their games in IGN, then you already know that this is, for the most part, a highly paid joke, I guess that's what you're gonna call it, because what in the world are they doing? Like, yeah, you look at a game, you look at if fans want to play the game, and then they talked about how small development teams, in their opinions, basically, or smaller games, people are not really wanting to play those games. Bro, I saw something that my eyes had not necessarily ever seen, to me, in my own opinion anyways. But again, I mean, if you thought IGN was like, a serious organization with their game reviews, then I guess that was on you. I guess the mistake was on your part. I guess they started to maybe come, full circle and appeal more and more to gamers for the last few years. But at the end of the day, they're just there for the clicks, bro. That's all they're there for. So if the game doesn't have a big marketing budget for the most part, I guess that's what they're kind of insinuating. It's not what they said, but from when you look at the video and you look at the contents of what they said, you'll pretty much realize that, man, this is actually whack overall. But anyways, I'll get out of your hair. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. And if you do not know of this clip that I'm talking about, you're probably wondering, like, what is he talking about? My man Podcast Now has the video of the video and a video on his channel. So I recommend that you actually watch and see that video yourself. It will give you a better context as to what it is that I'm saying. So thanks so much for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.